So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and meeting with us. So to start, let's just take a look at the backstory, a little bit of the history between Yealink and Microsoft. And this is a story that goes back until about 2015, 2016, when Yealink and Microsoft began collaborating around their Link platform. And Yealink first rolled out a Link certified phone. From there through 2017 and 18, if you're familiar with Yealink, you'll know the T4 series was certified on the Skype for Business 0365 platform for use as an approved endpoint. And now into 2018-19, with the migration of Teams or into Teams from the 0365 on-premise and cloud platform, Yealink has continued to collaborate with Microsoft and develop hardware and solutions around the current Teams product that Microsoft is in the process of rolling out. So it's all TAP certified by Microsoft. It's gone through the processes and adhered to the standards of the Microsoft product. And Yealink has put a lot of time and money and resources into developing these products, not just this year, but really going back to the 2014-15 timeframe. Just a quick, synopsis anecdotally of how invested and how closely together Microsoft and Yealink are is this quote from Bob Davis, the corporate VP over there at Microsoft around engineering. And it's, a statement just about the excitement, how much value Yealink brings to the table and how closely they're going to continue to work, Microsoft and Yealink. So in terms of the Teams product, you may or may not be familiar today with what it is, or maybe you haven't fully had an opportunity to work with it or see it or read about it, but it's a more dynamic platform than what Microsoft has traditionally brought to market around their Office 365 suite of products. And it's allowed Yealink to develop a variety of hardware and software applications. And that's due in part to the dynamic nature of Teams. It's not just a hardware solution or a mobile solution or a cloud solution. It's actually multiple solutions, or I should say multiple tools in one to create a collaboration solution. And so we'll see through these various products that Yealink has developed the integration of software, of mobile products, desktop products, and video room collaboration products. Here's just a quick look at the current product roadmap from a high level as it pertains to Yealink and Microsoft. What we're going to talk about today is mainly what's on the first and third line to do with their audio endpoints and then their collaboration and conference endpoints. But as you can see, if you're especially familiar with the Yealink products, you'll see a lot of new products here. We will touch on the T55 and CP900 today. But there's also going to be the introduction at a later date of some new headset equipment and some more video conferencing systems. So what we're going to look at today is, like I said, around the audio phone and collaboration and conference products. We're going to touch on some of the feature sets and the timelines. And then at a later date, we'll go ahead and get into a more detailed discussion around the ancillary accessories that Yealink is also developing around the Teams portfolio. So we'll go ahead and get started by taking a look at the new T58A media phone from Yealink. That phone is going to be a mid to entry level media phone. I apologize if this keeps moving on me. So the T55 is a brand new phone from Yealink. And so this is a product that they've continued to develop with Microsoft and specifically for the Microsoft platform. So it's due to be released in the April timeframe. Right now, 888 VoIP and the US distributors are working on getting initial demo stock orders approved. But going back to the feature set real quick, it's an entry-level type of phone for Teams users, and that's based upon the feature set that it brings. As you can see, it has a unique design, a smaller screen that's not necessarily above the dial pad, but to the right now. It's a full Teams user interface so that it mirrors whatever sort of Teams application would be running on your desktop. There is an additional USB support for a headset, the phone itself also supports Bluetooth and Wi-Fi internally. It's a gigabit phone, and it also uses PoE power. So what we'll see is a reoccurring theme as we look at the 55, 56, 58, and CP960 is that all of these phones are going to be on an Android operating system, and that allows them to seamlessly integrate with the Teams products from Microsoft. So the next level up from the T55 is going to be the T56A, and this is going to be what Yealink is considering a mid-level media phone. And with the 56A, there's a couple feature notes to be aware of that would differentiate that not only from the T55, but also from the T58. So the T56 is being marketed and designed around a mid-level or collaboration space endpoint. Reason being, it has, as you can see, the large color touchscreen, but that color touchscreen is not adjustable. That is a fixed position screen, so you can't adjust it vertically. It still has that Android operating system that we mentioned before. It does support Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. As you can see, there's one USB port on the back, so it will have to be supported by an additional accessory to support the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. But it's still a gigabit PoE phone, and it will support expansion modules or sidecars, the EXP50, if you're looking to incorporate that type of deployment. Compared to the 58, it'll be lower in cost, but can still support up to 180 contacts with that sidecar. So the next level up from the T56A is the T58A. And so I mentioned before with the 56 that the color screen is not adjustable. That is the case, though, with the 58A. It is unadjustable vertically, multi-point touchscreen. There is built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. There is no need to add the accessory for that support. And you'll also have 2 USB ports. So if we're incorporating some sort of headset or storage, this phone is more set up for that type of accessory integration. But as we see as a standard feature set with the 55 and 56, there is dual gig support, PoE support, and as with the 56, we saw support for expansion modules. The main reason why they call this the premium media phone is more so to do with some of the standard features I mentioned around the built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So just to kind of pull back the lens a little bit, I wanted to put together this table just to kind of compare on a feature by feature basis the 58 and the 56. So as you can see, a lot of parity, a lot of similarity between the feature sets, but at the end of the day, we'll see that there's built-in support for the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi feature on the 58, along with an additional USB port and an adjustable screen. On top of the feature differences, the cost of goods to the channel and to the reseller, to the end user, will be higher for the T58 versus the T56. Very, very similar to what we see now in the channel today with the T58 and 56 that's currently available. A good note, though, is that when ordering the Teams-enabled versions of the T58, 56, we will have to signify on that SKU or part number that we are ordering that specific type or flavor of that phone. The T55 itself will be locked into just Teams, as mentioned, but the 56 and 58, as we know, will support both SIP and Teams. So it's just an important operational note that when ordering these phones, we want to make sure we order them specifically for Teams if that's the intention. So within the Teams product portfolio, we also have a conference phone. So not only do we have entry, mid, and executive level phones, we now have the CP960 available to support the Teams platform. All the same standard features we saw with the CP960 in terms of the color touchscreen, built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, USB capabilities, Android operating system are still all there. But the CP960 optimized for Teams will have the shared or same Teams user interface and directory and meeting access directly into the Teams platform. So again, just to pull back the lens a little bit, I just wanted to compare the solution portfolio around Teams from Yealink to the competitive manufacturers that are in the space today. As we can see just by taking a look at this table, Yealink is the most comprehensive manufacturer today in terms of the products that they are bringing to the channel to support the Teams platform. Yealink is the only manufacturer that supports a desk phone and a conference phone solution that will support Teams today. So I wanted to take a quick look here at the CP960 Conference Pod. It's a new product that is being rolled out from Yealink. We saw it in the roadmap a couple slides back. The reason why I wanted to bring this in is because Teams is predominantly a software operating system, right? It's designed for different use case scenarios, designed to be flexible and utilized in a variety of collaboration and meeting spaces. So not every time that we use Teams will we have access to an endpoint, or will a end user require that a hardware endpoint be necessary, a dedicated endpoint be necessary. So insert the CP900 Conference Pod. Okay, so this is a USB or Bluetooth conference pod with built-in noise cancellation, and uses the same HD voice technology that Yealink has incorporated to all of their desk phones, T5 series notwithstanding. It's going to be designed, or it is designed to fully support Skype for Business and Teams clients running on a PC or a laptop, so that you can have full call control right from the conference pod. So that if you are using a browser or are using the desktop application for Teams or for 365, a 365 product, this device will give you full-blown conference control while using the software applications. You'll see the time to market's about March of this year. From my vantage point, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be maybe end of March. We haven't seen confirmation just yet on greenlighting an order, but I have seen demos and beta versions at shows and from some of the Yealink reps. So this should be in the market relatively soon. I'd say early Q2 is probably a good target date for that to be available. All right, so that was just a quick look at the audio endpoints that Yealink is rolling out around the Teams platform. I want to transition to the video collaboration equipment here in just a second, but a quick note on the audio endpoints, the T56 and the 58. Those products are going to be first available in the channel before the T55. So there are going to be demo units available, and we'll touch upon that at the end of this presentation. But in terms of overall release and availability, the T56 and 58 for Teams are going to be the first models available in the channel, followed by the T55, the T58A. So what we're doing with the CP960 is taking a look and seeing if we can utilize any existing stock and upgrade that to the Teams platform, or if we'll bring that in at the same time as the T58, 56. But just a note on availability, that's when the models, the 56, 58 will be available before the T55. Okay, so let's transition real quick to the video conferencing and collaboration tools that Yealink has developed around the Teams platform as well. This is just a quick high-level view at the spectrum, if you will, of video endpoints, starting with the all-new VP59 video phone on the left-hand side. That's going to be more for your office and executive user, and then through your entry-level or huddle space types of rooms to mid-level rooms, and all the way up to full boardrooms, classrooms, and executive meeting suites. So we'll first take a look at the VP59. If you're familiar at all with Yealink and have been working with them over the years, you know that this is not the first video phone that Yealink has brought to the market, but they are focused on continuous development, especially around the Teams platform. So they have developed the VP59 specifically for use with the Teams platform. So it's very, very similar if you're familiar at all with the T49G in the sense that you have a removable USB camera that you can also mount on top of your display and connect this time now with a wireless microphone pod. So that's a new feature with the VP59 is mic inputs are expandable. You can incorporate a decked wireless microphone pod with this phone so that if you have the phone placed elsewhere, the camera on top of the display, you can utilize the microphone pod in a more efficient manner to pick up your voice. It's an Android operating phone. It will come specifically for the Teams platform, so it will mirror the Teams user interface. I have been told that it's also a PoE-powered phone. So even though it supports video and these these decked microphone pods, a nice feature that was not part of the T49G is that this phone will also support PoE power. Next model up would be the VC200. So the VC200 is a current video conferencing endpoint today, but what is going to change from that model to this is that it's going to be optimized for Teams, just like many of the other products we've discussed today. The VC200-Teams will have the full-blown Teams firmware support, so it does mirror the Teams user interface, but it takes advantage of some of the hardware capabilities and features of the VC200 today, such as the Ultra HD 4K camera, built-in Bluetooth, built-in Wi-Fi, wide-angle lens, and the built-in beamforming microphones within the housing. It's an all-in-one endpoint in terms of components. So it's got mics, it's got a camera, it's got outputs, all in one hardware endpoint. Doesn't require any additional components to be used. It is also PoE powered. So it's a very compact, very efficient little device. It's perfect for huddle rooms, small meeting rooms, or even the executive level users who maybe have a little bit of a higher end need or more dynamic of a need for their video conferencing capabilities. All right, so the next level up in terms of video conferencing, and you may see a theme here, a lot of the video conferencing products are designed around meeting room spaces and user type. So with the VP59 and the VC200, those are your collaboration spaces, meeting rooms, small huddle rooms. Those types of environments are really what were thought of when these systems were designed. But now when we talk about larger meeting rooms, offices, classrooms, and things of that nature, we're talking more so now about the MVC series. And the entry level, if you will, product within the MVC series is the MVC 500. And with the picture on screen, you can kind of get a sense of what this product is. It's a full-blown camera endpoint connected to a sound bar, a control panel, and then utilizes wireless microphone pods, and it all connects back to a mini PC. It's an Intel NUC mini PC running Windows 10. But the long and short of the MVC 500 is that it's designed for medium to mid-sized conference spaces. It allows you the flexibility of different package components so that you can pair different things along the lines of the wireless microphone pod and the soundbar to support the different types of environments that you're working in. But the camera itself is a 5x optical lens zoom camera. It has a pretty good field of view. As you can see, it's 83 degrees, which is pretty wide. It would cover a pretty good size room. The system itself supports wireless content sharing. That's an optional feature for the current version of the VC500, but this device will support the wireless content sharing as well as standard tethered, if you will, HDMI cable-based content sharing. So you have some options around how you want to share content or can share content, but the point is that this device supports that. Does not come with a conference phone, as you can see. So in terms of your inputs and outputs, you'll either have to use your TV or your soundbar, and then you'll have the wireless microphone pods as your microphone input. If you're familiar at all with the Yealink video conferencing systems in the past, you'll notice that the M-Share or the tablet that's in the middle of the picture there is a brand new feature and product as well that's fully being integrated within the MVC series for call control. Okay, and so then the next level up would be the MVC 800. And so the key difference between the MVC 800 and 500, well, there's two. First is the camera. As you may have noticed by the picture comparison, the MVC 800 has just a bigger, better camera. It has a 12x, 12 times zoom optical lens camera, has a little bit wider field of view, can zoom in further, can pan and tilt a little bit further than the MVC 500. The device itself can connect up to 4 wired beamforming microphone arrays. So it's more like a daisy chain type of application. You can see the, I like to call them throwing star looking devices down in the bottom corners of the pictures of the system. You'll actually be able to daisy chain up to 4 of those together to pick up the input across the meeting spaces you're being deployed. Again, the MVC 800 supports the instant wireless content sharing feature that we saw with the 500, but also can support, quote unquote, standard methods of content sharing. It also comes with the M-Touch touchpad controller, console controller. What we'll see in the future, and I'll touch upon this in a second, is that the MVC 800 will actually be scalable to support multiple cameras, and we'll have a little bit different nomenclature, but this would be the entry, or I'm sorry, the baseline configuration to support the additional cameras for larger meeting spaces. So to culminate on the video conferencing end, I just want to kind of put this all on a single piece of paper here, or a single slide. There's 4 initial systems being released to the channel that we talked about today: the VP59, the VC200, the MVC 800, MVC 500. In addition, as we get into like Q2, Q3, the MVC series is also going to expand. There'll be a multi-camera MVC 800 product called the MVC 900, as we can see here all the way on the left-hand side. And then Yealink's planning to enhance the VC 200 Teams system from just an all-in-one endpoint to now supporting the console controller, soundbar, Intel NUC PC, and content sharing capabilities. So the only reason I'm showing this is just to show the big picture, to show the continued plan of collaboration between Yealink and Microsoft, and that as the Teams rollout progresses and more features are added, the idea is that Yealink will have a product to match those releases. The note on the bottom also states these devices will also support Skype for Business on-prem or O365, depending upon which one the customer ultimately went with. So if you have customers today who are using O365 or Skype for Business on-prem and they're formulating their migration plans, you can keep in mind that these systems will support both platforms so that they can be used immediately and then through to the migration process. All right, so a quick question came in. I'll just answer it real quick because it applies here real quick around the video conferencing systems. The brains of these video conferencing systems, the MVCs, will be the mini PC, the Intel NUC, and those will be included. All of these systems, as we see here, are going to be initially bundled like this. You'll have a standard bundle package, and this is kind of the idea for the platforms is each platform will have a little bit different package contents based upon the room sizes that they want to be deployed in. We should be able to in the future mix and match those, but at the end of the day, the mini PC is the brain of the operation. It runs the Windows 10 operating system and allows that integration to Teams or O365 that we're looking for. Okay, so that was a quick look at the video conferencing products as well. So I just want to circle back and take a look at the device management platform support for Skype for Business and Teams. For those of you who are not aware, Yealink has developed and is currently releasing a device management platform. to centrally manage and see all different endpoints, audio or video, across not only a single organization, but multiple organizations. And this tool is also set up to support Skype for Business and Teams specific endpoints. So not only will a customer, a reseller in this example, or service provider be able to essentially manage OpenSIP IP products within that same portal, you can see Skype for Business and Teams users as well. You can run packet captures, you can do troubleshooting, firmware updates, move edge changes, things of that nature, all from a centrally managed device management tool. Here's just a quick look at the device interface. If you haven't seen it, just a nice real-time look at some of the more important stats around who's online, who's offline, any sort of call quality updates, how many sites you have, how many accounts you have, how many phones you have. In terms of configuration management, here's just a quick snapshot of what that looks like. But as you can see, there's different features that you can enable or disable in terms of how you want to configure the phones right from this device management tool. So it takes away the requirement of being on-prem or having to backdoor into these phones to do some of the feature setup work during an install or move add change. And lastly, the device management platform gives us real-time data around diagnostics, CPU, memory, bit rates, things like that, just to see if strange things are happening on the network, if there's a reported problem from a user, taking a look back and seeing if there's any sort of evidence to support the potential theories around troubleshooting and identifying the cause. This becomes a real-time assessment tool, and also will store call data and phone data for past calls over time to research as necessary. So lastly, that's going to bring us right to the end here almost. Lastly, I did want to release the demo program that Yealink is supporting around the new Teams phones. It's a try and buy program that Yealink is really excited about bringing to the table that ties into some of the initial stock here at 888 VoIP that we have recently secured. But ultimately, Yealink is going to expand not only this this demo opportunity to customers, but they're also going to incorporate their deal registration process for Teams products as well. So if you've done deal registrations in the past with Yealink for their OpenSIP products, it'd be a very, very similar process now going forward for the Teams solution. In terms of the demo, there are some requirements or different standards to meet here. Essentially, there's two different ways to get a demo. Either you have an immediate project in the pipeline today that you have identified with a specific customer. If it's for a CP960, you're going to sell at the very least 3 to 10 of those. If you're selling 10 or more, you're going to get a free unit. If you're selling 3 to 10, you're going to get a deeply discounted unit. If you're a Microsoft certified partner today, you're automatically going to qualify for 1 unit of CP960 at 70% off. For the 58 and for the 56, again, 2 opportunities to get demo systems. First option, you have a project, either that project's 500 or more or 500 or less, depending upon that level. That'll dictate the discount to you, either free or 70% off. Same idea for the channel partners. Either you're fully certified channel partner today with Microsoft Teams, and if so, we can go ahead and get you applied. Okay, and that brings me to the question period. And I know a couple of you guys have been sending questions, been patiently waiting, and I appreciate you doing that. And I'm sorry for glazing over them, but I did want to kind of get to this point of the presentation before we go ahead and jump into those. So with that being said, that kind of concludes the end of the slide deck. If there's any particular questions that anybody has that I haven't addressed, you can certainly stick around, shoot some questions over. Let's see if we can get to those. If not, feel free to send me an email. Like I said, I'm the vendor business and product manager here at 888 VoIP. you can work with me, or you can work directly with your map sales account rep here at 888 FOIP anytime. And this is a core focus of ours this quarter, getting the team solution online and getting these products into to your hand, into the hands of end users who are asking about them. So let us know what we can do to help you to do that. Again, thank everybody for taking time out of their day to meet with us and to hear this presentation. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and focus on some questions now, but if you're good to go, please enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you. Okay, so I have a list of questions here. I'm just going to run down them. I'll type an answer if I can. Bear with me one second. All right, so there are a couple questions that have come in around the sidecar for the T56 and 58. Will they have the same interface? Yes, they will. What it looks like, I'm not 100% sure. I can try and dig up a image. I don't have one ready, but it will kind of mirror that Teams user interface where it's black, I think like a light beigey gray, and like a purpley blue kind of color. So a question came in around competitive vendor products in the Teams arena. In terms of what's certified on the market today, Yealink is the first fully certified endpoint manufacturer that's got a product out there. I know Polycom's working through some things. I have heard Crestron has a 365 and Skype supportive manufacturer. I couldn't speak to their Teams development. What I can say, though, generally speaking, is that most vendors with this Teams rollout, except for Yealink, have been somewhat hesitant. I don't want to say very hesitant, but somewhat hesitant to really bring a fully blown Teams supportive product to market. I think they're really just looking to see how the the first kind of wave of Teams migrations and installations go before they fully commit. But that is not the case with Yealink. They've jumped right in, feet first on this. So we'll see what happens with some of the other vendors in the space. So a question came in around the MVC products. Are they designed for the Teams and Microsoft platform only? So the question to that is initially, yes, they will be only for the Teams and O365 product suite initially. However, as things progress, the plan from Yealink is around the Q3 timeframe to have these devices support Zoom and BlueJeans or WebEx or GoToMeeting even, because it's a Microsoft operating PC, right? And so the camera and the microphone inputs are really, they're just connected by USB or Ethernet. So the brains of the operation are these mini PCs, and so they should be able to support third-party conferencing platforms or browser-based conferencing tools. And so over time, as these first MVC products are released to the channel, they're going to focus on the Teams platform, but like I said, around Q3 timeframe, look to see a firmware update or rev, or maybe even just a whole new version of these devices that support non-Teams, we'll say, or non-Microsoft platforms. So quick question came in around the Teams firmware. What I can say in terms of what the first look of that firmware and the feedback of that has been is it was a first time go in releasing that firmware. And so what Yealink did to get the firmware out there in the 56 and 58 was took existing phones and said, go ahead and update your existing phone. So I can't speak to the frequency with which these firmware releases will happen. But what I can tell you is what should happen is, because these phones are now coming in the 56 and 58, 55, are coming in specifically set up for Teams out of the box, the firmware revs should slow down. Doesn't mean it's not going to continue to happen, because that's obviously a requirement just over time. But I would think that the rate of firmware releases would be somewhat comparable to what we see on the T4 series. maybe a little bit more initially just to kind of get things settled. But again, the idea being with these 56 and 58s and 55s, everything's pre-packaged and pre-bundled within the phone for that Teams optimization. A question came in around the tablet controller device that we saw with the MVC series. It's that small touchscreen interface that allows you to control users and content creation or content sharing and things like that. That device is a USB system. It does run on a HP technology, so it's going to have a operating system optimized specifically for use with the Yealink system. So what I can tell you initially is that that's probably going to be a proprietary controller for the time being for the video systems. I can tell you that in the past, with the current video conferencing systems on the market, Yealink has sought to collaborate with Crestron, with AMX and Harman around their control technologies at an API level. So what I would suspect to happen is over the next probably 3 to 6 months, we'll see these types of control tablets and these video conferencing systems have a deeper integration with some of the third-party control software that's out there, so that you can have a centralized point of management, not only for the video conferencing system, but some of the associated audio and visual components in most meeting rooms. A question came in about the device management tool, whether that is available in the cloud or on-prem, and the answer to that is yes. The device management software is either available as a software package that you can purchase and then spin up in your own data center, in your own servers if you prefer, or there is a already bundled, if you will, cloud service available today that Yealink has incorporated their RPS platform into. And so if you wanted to sign up for that, either as a trial or through a full-blown agreement, you can do so immediately with 888 VoIP. I can send out the slide deck to anyone who's interested as well. Just by you chatting me, I'll know you're available, so I can send that over. Quick question came in: how many monitors will the video conferencing systems support? So the VC 500 and 800 are designed to support 2 each, and then you have the VC 200 that is designed to support 1, and all those devices are going to use an HDMI port to support those devices. So either 2 or 1. Question came in: can the T58V be upgraded to support Teams? And the answer to that is no, actually. In terms of a video phone, I should say. The 58 can take a Teams firmware rev upgrade, but it's going to be an audio-only endpoint. Part of the reason for the VP59 development was due to some of the internal workings of Teams and video conferencing, and the T58V just wasn't necessarily designed or optimized to that standard. So yes, we can make the 58 a Teams-specific endpoint, the 58V, but just not for video. And if you do want the video aspect of it, you'll have to utilize the VP59 when it comes out. All right, so I think that gets me almost to the bottom here. Is there, a question came in, is there a Teams or Skype Business Room system on the Nook delivered with the video system? So in terms of the Intel Nook operating within the Teams environment, the Nook itself will have Teams or 365 software preloaded onto the device. What you should be able to do then is just log in with your specific enterprise credentials and be pretty seamlessly integrated right into that platform. So there's not a lot of additional steps required because it is coming from the factory essentially set up for Teams use out of the box. So in terms of content sharing, there's two options. To answer your question, Chris, is if you want to do wireless content sharing, you can do that right through. There's an adapter that comes with the video system. But to your point, I believe the Teams meeting space also supports local content sharing, so that if you're connected into that meeting through a URL on like a laptop or mobile PC or what have you, you should be able to share content locally. And that, I believe, would be the case. That's how it works for other platforms, BlueJeans as an example. But the MVC itself is designed so that if that particular user's laptop is not participating in the meeting, you can just go ahead and share content wirelessly through the accessories or through the HDMI or USB cables that come with the video system. All right, seeing everyone's requests for slide decks and demos for the device management, that's all good. I appreciate that. We'll definitely make sure those get to the right hands. Again, here's my information if you missed it. Again, you could always reach out directly to your 888 VoIP sales rep if you have one, either one. All right, so it's what, quarter to three here in the East. So let's see, do I have any other questions coming in? The Intel NUC question about, is it certified for Teams out of the box? Yes, it is. It's kind of the workaround that Yealink had to come up with to get this thing to work correctly with the Teams platform, long story short. But yes, it's a Windows operating PC, but it's optimized and loaded for Teams. In terms of how you make money selling Teams, I don't know. I don't sell it. So I'm sure there's a way. Knowing Microsoft is probably reoccurring licensing fees, but I guess I couldn't speak to that intelligently. All right, so it's about quarter to three here in the East. We'll go ahead and shut this down. I really appreciate everyone and their time today and the comments and the questions, especially. Definitely helpful, good information to know that's going through your brains. We'll go ahead and get the appropriate information that's been requested out, whether that's for device management requests, for demo, or slide decks. Everything's being recorded today, so if you want a recording, we can send you that, or I can send you the slide deck, whatever you prefer. But anywho, that'll bring us right to the end. Thank you so much again for taking time out of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.